Okay, guys. So I'm going to touch on a few of the things the negative side did talk about and stuff they didn't talk about. So they made the claims that how the affirmative action, racial consideration gives the people who are left out and who are on the bottom of who are in poverty, gives them a chance to get up and to get into these higher education schools and get out of poverty. So one big thing they had left out was the fact that Asian Americans are a part of the minority group in the United States, according to studies across the board, and they didn't talk about them at all. So Asian Americans, although they are stereotypically considered to be a part of the higher up universities, and you see, like even at Cal Poly Pomona is 42% Asian American, 28% Hispanic, and the rest are mixed race with white and everything inside. So the opposition left out the fact that Asian Americans are a part of this minority group that are kind of discriminated against. And Business Insider actually found that since the 90s, the population of Asian Americans has doubled in the United States. However, when the studies looked into the representation of Asian Americans in Ivy League schools, they increased slightly, but not even close to proportionally to the amount of their population increase. This means that although there are more applicants out there, more than are being denied rather than accepted with affirmative action. Another thing they talked about was the fact that they give an example of an African American male that got in because of affirmative action and because of racial consideration and brought his family out of poverty in the mid-70s. However, researcher Stephen Handel found that the number of Hispanic and Black freshmen in the University of California campuses declined immediately after the affirmative action ban took effect, especially since it showed that the consideration actually hurt minorities it hurt their chances rather than give them a boost against competition. And when looking at the percent increases of the number of African Americans and Hispanics in highly praised universities from 1980 to now, there's no more than a 3% increase in their population of these campuses in campuses such as Princeton, Dartmouth, and Yale. And so if population growth is factored in since 1980, the number of African American and Hispanic students enrolled at the top of these schools are essentially the same. There's no increase because of these racial considerations. There's no decrease. It stays the same. It has no effect across the board. Yet certain schools may have more minorities, but when we look at the big picture with regards to the population of the minority, there's no difference across the board. And another point that I want to talk about is the fact that it tries to diminish discrimination across the board when getting into college campuses. However, it actually promotes discrimination in a reverse way. Affirmative action and racial consideration not only guarantees that discriminative policies will stay in the admissions process, but also rewards students with privileges that they have not earned. It discriminates, instead of discriminating against the lower class, it discriminates against the higher class and the more privileged students who actually did the work to get in these universities, and gives the students who may not have done the work a chance to get in instead. Thank you.